All right. Good evening. My name's Bryce Yonker, and I am coming from Portland, so did the drive that everybody's all too familiar with, I'm sure. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about clean tech. I hope it's a word that you guys have heard a little bit about, and I hope it's not too tainted in your minds, because it's getting all sorts of press, and a lot of it is undeserved. So we'll start with the basic definition of clean tech, and I'm definitely not the person to give this, but I like to think of it as clean consumption and clean production, and not just electricity, all sorts of resources that you can use. And what clean tech is not, this would probably be the coolest presentation I could give in 5 minutes, but I didn't know enough things that it's not. But there's a lot of things out there that people are claiming that it is, and it's certainly not giant flat screen TVs or smokestacks spilling things into the air. Portland has a lot of, and Oregon has a lot of expertise in this area. A lot of companies with this ethos have grown organically here or moved themselves here. Big ones, small ones, some that are really well known. A handful of them up there are flashing by in a bunch of different areas. And what's cool about the opportunity for Oregon is the world cares about this now. The world cares about clean tech. And we were actually in front of the pack for a few years now, and now everybody's catching up with us. So, we got this ethos. We have all these cool companies. We don't have much money, but it's not very far south, and a lot of these opportunities have sprung up around here. So things like renewable energy, hydro. Our system is totally hydro. You can call that clean or not, but there's a lot of other ones that are. Green building design, we have a ton of those, and a few others. What I want to talk with for the main part of this presentation is broadening what we think of as clean tech. So computer technology has a ton of potential to really bring some efficiencies in the business world and in the consumer world. And why that is you're able to leverage the use of these hardware and software technologies to bring incredible efficiencies. And so I'm going to take an attempt to list 10 in order, rank order. So down at 10, here's a really cool word you've probably never heard before unless you work in an IT center, virtualization. Taking all those servers that crunch all the data, taking them from 10 down to 1. You can do this. It saves a lot of energy. It saves a lot of space. Here's a really hot one right now called cloud computing. Taking all those services that happen on the web within a company, putting them up on the web, and having them happen on the internet rather than happen on servers in your location. Number 8, all those data crunching happens at a data center, and that often happens either within a company or at a place that does a whole bunch of that. And you can make tons of efficiency saving energy at those locations. Number 7 is going to be what happens when these things are at the end of their lives. They don't have a long lifespan, and they have toxic metals in them, and they end up in piles like that everywhere. So there's a huge opportunity to make a loop of those systems, those products. Number 6, printing efficiency. Simple things like printing on both sides, setting up I want to print that actually at the printing station, and more complicated things that just turn, no use for paper. Number 5, PCs, you can make them a lot smarter. You can make them go to sleep. You can make them not work at their full efficiency all the time, just when you want to use them. Saves a lot of energy, obviously. Number 4 is kind of the cheating one out of the 10. There is a ton of resources, federal, state, local, to get businesses to try to do these kinds of things. Tax credits, incentives, organizations that are trying to get people to do these sorts of improvements. Number 3, here's a really interesting one. Not even a new technology, an old technology that's seen a new rebirth, which would be like video communication, web collaboration, those sorts of things that basically make meetings you can happen virtually so effectively right now. A really cool one that I wish I knew a whole lot more about, carbon tracking. Basically, if you're able to associate carbon with your process, with your product, it's got a big improvement right now. And then I think definitely the biggest one, I don't know if you've heard this word, but hopefully you will in the near-term future, smart grid, turning that old 20th century system that we have into a 21st century dynamic electric system. Tons of hardware, tons of software, huge opportunities. So just in summary, I'd like to say that, clean tech, it's local, it's small, it's global, it's big, and it's here, and there's some really cool things happening. So thanks for hearing my presentation.